Hi, I'm Teresa Lopes and I'm presenting Quality Assessment of Portuguese Secondary Education, Biology and Geology National Exams. Let's start. In Portugal, the conclusion and the certification of secondary education and the access to higher education depend on an evaluation system in which external assessment in the form of national examinations has a significant impact. The students' results in biology and geology exam have revealed a serious situation of failure over the years, with very low average scores and excessively high failure rates. With regard to the average scores, the maximum score was 10.02 points in 20 possibles, achieved in 2014 and 2016 exams, and the minimum score was 8.21 points obtained by all students who took the exam in 2013. As for the failure rates, they have been situated between 1/3 and 2/3 of the students who took the exam. The worst record occurred in 2013, in which the failure rate reached 64.4%, which means that 49,235 exams revealed a score below 9.5 points, in a total of 26,501 exams. These numbers show the real dimension of the problem. In teachers' opinion, the main causes of the students' failure in biology and geology external assessment are the exam's higher degree of complexity, the stress and the anxiety caused in the students by the exam, students' difficulties related to reading, interpretation, and communication skills, the very penalizing exams correction and classification criteria, the high degree of complexity of the document analysis, the gap between what is required in the exam and what is required by the subject syllabus, the inadequacy of the exam to the student's maturity, and the extensive subject syllabus. Thus, it is important to analyze the validity and the technical quality of this exam to assess whether these assessment instruments are contributing negatively to the student's failure. The objectives of this study are to analyze the validity and the technical quality of biology and geology exams, to determine whether biology and geology exams access the purposes of the subject syllabus, to determine whether biology and geology exams access the achievement of the educational objectives proposed by Bloom's taxonomy. This study's population consists of 10 biology and geology national exams, first and second phases, which were carried out in the academic years between 2012-2013, the last year in which changes were applied in the national tests, and 2017-2018, the last year with full data provided by the Jury Nacional de Exames. A non-probabilistic convenience sample was selected, being the criterion the extremes of the students' results. Biology and Geology Exam 2014, first phase, in which the students achieved the best results, and Biology and Geology Exam 2014, second phase, in which the students achieved the worst results. We opted for a qualitative investigation using document analysis and content analysis. Data collection instruments were constructed, which consisted of analysis grids to analyze the exam questions in order to obtain data on the following dimensions: subject area per year, quantity and quality of documents, sources, type of questions, science teaching dimension, Bloom's taxonomy dimensions. The analysis grids were subjected to prior validation by specialists and education and science education. In the data treatment, each one of the questions in which each one of the exams were analyzed qualitatively, making the respective categorization for each of the dimensions analyzed, presence, absence of the category, and points. Finally, it was made a quantitative approach. The results were recorded in a comparative table of the two tests. The biology and geology exams consist of 4 groups of questions, 2 of biology and 2 of geology. 4 problems are presented to students and problem-solving questions are asked about them. As you can see in Table 1, the main science teaching proposed assessed is learning science, and the Bloom's taxonomy cognitive process assessed are apply and analyze. The exams often assess specific contents and concepts with a higher degree of difficulty than what the subject syllabus recommends. Answering to the questions requires the reading and elaborated analysis of documents. 9 documents in 2014 first phase and 8 in 2014 second phase, which can be text, images, graphs, maps, or tables. In general, these sources of information present new situations which are complex to read and analyze using elaborate scientific language. There is a clear privilege of multiple choice questions, although the exam structure is maintained with regard to the number and types of questions. It should be noted that sometimes the degree of difficulty arises with artificialities and less correct formulation of the questions that causes doubts and insecurities for students. Let's look at the conclusions and implications. It is concluded that the exams are cognitively demanding tests in which most questions assess higher categories of the cognitive process, such as apply and analyze of conceptual knowledge. The time for doing the exam, 2 hours with 30 minutes of tolerance, is not compatible with the interpretation of so much information in such a short period of time, because answering the questions demands the integration of content that requires complex reasoning. The privilege that is given to multiple choice questions decreases the validity of the test, because this type of items makes the assessment of the student's ability to develop a reasoning difficult. The students may be doing at least partially correct reasoning and making the question wrong, or he may be doing the wrong reasoning and getting the question right. It may not let students' problem-solving skills emerge, and therefore the student is not being given an opportunity to show what he really knows in this domain. This option for multiple choice question is related to attempt to increase the reliability of the test, but it decreases its validity. This fact shows the conflict between these two concepts denounced by Black. Regarding the science teaching purposes, the exam focuses on the dimension learning science, neglecting other purposes such as learning to do science, learning about science, and learning through science, which deprives it of validity because it does not access what the subject syllabus demands. It is imperative to produce assessment instruments with better technical quality. The exam cannot be seen as an unquestionable and infallible assessment tool, but rather it must be rethought and continually improved. The exam, prepared in 2020, may give some guidelines for its reformulation. It consisted of 33 items, of which only 10 were mandatory. 15 items of the remaining 23 contributed to the exam's final grade. Regarding the type of questions, short answer questions and selection completion questions with multiple choice were introduced. These changes gave students a greater opportunity to show what they know and what they are able to do, and therefore we must consider if it should be introduced permanently in exams of the coming years. Thank you for watching. Do you have any questions?